Princess Pecharat were placed here in the throne hall. The royal portrait of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, and you can see the flower decoration, which is in the tone of the blue color, because her day of birth was Friday, and Friday is represented by the blue color. This is the royal urn of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. There are altogether 14 levels of prakot or royal urns that can be used for the remains of members of royal families and royal cousins, and kot prachatan or royally bestowed urns for the remains of high-ranking officials. They start from kot tho or tho urn and kot pat liam or 8-edge urn, all the way to the highest level of prakot thong yai royal urn. The royal urn that contains the sacred remains is adorned with flowery patterns, being completely decorated in accordance with the royal status or status of honor. Traditionally, the decoration of a royal urn has many levels of sophistication befitting the status of the royal or sacred remains. And on this occasion, all accompaniments of the royal urn are bestowed. The royal urn used for royal funeral ceremony is the one constructed during the reign of King Rama V, decorated with ornaments with specific names such as Phum Phương, movable flowers or Dok Mai Wai, and pelvis flowers or Dok Mai Eo, according to the royal status. The tradition of decorating royal urns dictates the levels of sophistication according to the royal status of the royal remains. For the royal funeral ceremonies of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, the royal urn is decorated in all aspects. พระภูษาโยง or connecting long wide strip of cloth. This is auspicious and is used during the ritual of the rite of the offering of the saffron robes to the monks by their majesties the king and queen. พระภูษาโยง is attached and is hung down from the royal urn in front of the royal urn towards the พระมหากฐิน royal tray on the royal tongsai pedestal standing nearby. พระภูษาโยง is considered as an auspicious item of royal religious ceremonies. This long gold embroidered cloth connected to the royal urn serves as a symbolic link between Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, Queen Mother, and the merit to be made by the offering of saffron robes by His Majesty the King, Her Majesty the Queen, and members of the royal family. It is a gesture of disseminating merit to the deceased monarch by physical indirect connection, as can be seen in cases of ordinary Buddhist funeral ceremonies, when merit made by the families by the offering of saffron robes to monks is symbolically transmitted to the deceased by way of long white threads. At the pelvis of the royal urn, the front part is attached to this long hanging cloth, พระภูษาโยง You can see in the middle of the hall is a shrine where the Buddha image related to the royal birthday of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is being enshrined. Participating monks are invited to take their seats on the monastic platform with their tiffin carriers placed in front of them. In those tiffin carriers contain offering of food, and this will be presented to the monks by their majesties the king and queen, members of the royal family, royal cousins, high-ranking officials that are represented in the hall today. So that will take place a little bit later on. Honorary monks are now invited to take their seats on the monastic platform. You can see behind these honorific monks, the fans of rank or patyot. This is the fans presented by a Thai king to a monk at the time of bestowment of a honorific title upon that monk. This serves as a royal tribute to the good deeds committed by the Sangha and also as a symbol to identify the monk's honorific rank, similar to the way the decorations bestowed by a king upon his officials and subjects would signify. Patyot is a kind of talipot fan or talapat, and talapat means a fan made of palm leaves with long handle used by a monk in Thai religious ceremonies. Palm leaves had been used in making many items such as fans, sunshades since the pre-Buddha era. During the period of Lord Buddha, monks carried a talipot fan onto his pulpit, and evidence suggests that these fans carried by Lankan, Burmese and Siamese monks were all made of palm leaves in that period. Hence the monks' fans have been known as talapat or talipot fans until today. Nowadays, monks' fans used in various auspicious occasions may be made of other materials beside palm leaves. For example, they may have their frames made of wood or steel, covered by different types of cloth. However, they are still known as talapat. The Lankan fans with ivory handles mentioned in the 16th century legend is to a certain extent similar to Thai nanang fans. Nanang means lady's face, as Thai talipot fan tends to be oval-shaped, similar to a female face. But the Lankan fans were much more rounded with shorter and larger handles. Hence, Thais may have acquired the original style of talipot fans from these Lankan fans, and the feature had then developed with time, resulting in other styles of talipot fans. Here, a study in detail of the พระพุทธรูปประจำพระชนมวาน or the Buddha image according to the day of birth of member of the royal family. It's a Buddha image commissioned by the king or members of the royal family to commemorate their significant occasions such as birthday or royal birth anniversary. And in most cases, it is a Buddha image bearing profound meaning and associated with the royal faith of the king or royal family members at the time. And พระพุทธรูปประจำพระชนมวาน for Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is that in the attitude of pensive attitude, contemplating deeply on the Dharma. Both hands are gently raised and placed together at the chest, symbolizing reflection and consideration, with the right hand placed over the left in a calm and serene gesture, signifying the readiness to deliver the ultimate Dharma for the benefit of the human beings. The Buddha compared all beings to three types of lotus. Lotus above the water are those with sharp wisdom who can quickly comprehend the Dharma. Lotus at the water surface are those who shall comprehend after training and cultivation, and lotus underwater are those who are at the beginning of learning, but shall comprehend in the future through perseverance. The Lord Buddha responded to Brahma Sahampati, who suggested that the Dharma discovered by the Lord Buddha should be taught to all those who are willing to learn, and he feel that there were beings in this world who had the capacity to listen to and understand Lord Buddha's Dharma. So he pleaded the Lord Buddha to reveal the Dharma for the salvation of the world. The Lord Buddha then surveyed all beings with his Buddha eye and found that there were many with varying ability to comprehend the Dharma, just like the lotus flowers in water in different conditions, as I have mentioned So finally, the Lord Buddha responded to Brahma Sahampati that he would open the door of Dharma to all who are ready to listen and understand. The pensive attitude Buddha image portrays the moment of contemplation and decision of the Buddha to preach the Dharma for the benefit of all beings, expressed in a calm posture of profound meaning. And the pensive attitude Buddha image is the Buddha image according to the day Friday. And so for those who are born on Friday, this is the Buddha image attitude, which is befitting the day of their birth. Her Majesty the Queen was born on a Friday, so the pensive attitude Buddha image is therefore casted for this particular occasion, on the occasion of Her Majesty's birthday anniversary. So in a moment when Their Majesties the King and Queen arrived, the royal merit making ceremony will begin. Let me inform you about some of the important appearances or activities that you may witness during this period of mourning. The custom of wearing black for mourning in Thailand dates back to 1863, to the reign of King Rama IV at the funeral ceremony of the king's daughter, Princess Chandramonthon. In the past, when the king passed away, male or female citizens must go into mourning by shaving their heads and wearing white costumes until the royal cremation of the royal remains had taken place. Later, during the reign of King Rama IV, he ordered members of the royal family and court officials to wear black costumes for mourning during the royal cremation ceremony of his daughter, Princess Chandramonthon Sopon Phakawadi. Since then, it became traditional that if a younger person passed away, the older person would mourn by wearing a black armband over the left upper arm. Later, when King Rama V passed away, King Rama VI gave a directive to stop the traditional mourning practice of shaving heads. As for the costume appropriate for the period of mourning, originally it was required that the people should wear white costumes and avoid wearing gems and jewelry. During the reign of King Rama IV, he preferred the participants to wear black during the funeral ceremony of his daughter. And during the reign of King Rama V, he allowed the color of gray mixed with red, pigeon color, and blue color as colors that could be used for mourning with various levels of usage. Black dresses to be worn by elderly persons or those who were older than the deceased. White dresses to be worn by young persons or those who were younger than the deceased. However, royal traditional court rules dictated that during royal funeral ceremonies at throne halls, those who came to pay respect must wear white, dark purple, or blue dresses for those who were not related to the deceased. As for the present-day practice, according to the Office of the Prime Minister's Directive of 1942, men wearing uniforms should have black armbands worn at their left upper arms, or if dressed politely, they should wear white shirts, long white trousers, black leather shoes, black socks, with black armbands at their left upper arms. royal motorcade of His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen has now arrived within the ground of the Grand Palace, parking just by the wall of the Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall near to the Rajakaranya Sabha Pavilion.
จากพระ
Their Majesties the King and Queen, accompanied by His Royal Highness Prince Tipankon Rasami Chod Mahawachira Rotamangul Sri Vibun Rajakuman and her noble consort Sininath Pilat Kalayani are entering the compound of the Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall. This is on the occasion of the 7th day, or known as Satamawan, following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. Their Majesties the King and Queen will now ascend by the Krasan porch of Piman Rataya Throne Hall and proceed into Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall, passing members of the royal family in attendance to the site of the royal urn. At that time, the court musicians sound the conch, royal trumpets, European trumpets and victory drums, and the Pipat ensemble will play slow traditional tune. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahajakri Sarinthorn will stand before the royal chair. Her Royal Highness Princess Julapon Kromapra Sisawangkawat, Her Royal Highness Princess Atityathorn Kittikun will stand before their royal chairs. ท่านผู้หญิง Ploy Palin Jensen and ท่านผู้หญิง Sirikitya Jensen will stand before their respective chairs. His Majesty the King lights the incense and candles of the royal offering set of gold with Rajavadi enamel, and also lights the incense and candles of the small golden offering set or Krung Thong Noi before the royal urn and pays homage. Her Majesty the Queen lights the incense and candles of the secondary royal offering set of gold with enamel, and also lights the incense and candles of the small golden offering set before the royal urn and pays homage. Her Majesty the Queen remains standing before the royal chair. His Majesty the King proceeds to light the incense and candles of the double-tiered golden offering tray in veneration of the Buddha image of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother's birthday, before the royal altar under the 9-tiered white umbrella of state and pays homage. His Majesty graciously receives the homage of those in attendance and seats himself upon the royal chair. Soon the Pipat ensemble will cease to play. Officials invite His Holiness Somdet Phra Ariya Wongsakatayan, the Supreme Patriarch, to present the Buddhist precepts. His Royal Highness, His Holiness will then present the precept in 3 chapters. The first is to pay respect to the Lord Buddha.
ปัญจศีลานิยาจามะทุติยัมปิมะยังพันเตวิสุงวิสุงรักนัฏฐายะติสรเนนะสหปัญจศีลานิยาจามะตติยัมปิมะยังพันเตวิสุงวิสุงรักนัฏฐายะติสรเนนะสหปัญจศีลานิยาจามะ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิธั ธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิทุติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิทุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิทุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอาทินนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยมัจจปมาทฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอิมานิปัญจสิกขาปะทานิสีเดนะทุกขติยันติสีเดนะโภคสัมปทาสีเดนะนิพุติยันติตัตมาสีรังวิโสทะเอนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธเวชจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิทูอนุตตรปุริสธรรมสารติสัตตะเทวมนุสสานังพุทโธภะคะวะติสวากาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมสันติติโกลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปัญญิโกปัจจตังเวทิตาโปเวนโยเฮติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆปุจจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาญาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยติตังจัตตาริปุริสยุคาเนอาทะปุริสปุกขละเอสัพพะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆปุณายโยปังปุณายโย
กินายโยอัญชลีกรณีโยอนุตตรังปุญญาเกตังโลกัสสะติภาหุงสาสมปิเนมิตตาพุทธานตังเครียงเรคารังมุทิตาโมระตะเทนะมารังทานาติตังมวิตินาจิตวามุเนนโททานเตจะสาภวตุจะยามังคลานิมาราติเรกามพิโยจิตตาปราเตงโกลัมปนาลวะกามากามตาตยาการการเดสุทานตวิตินาจิตวามุเนนโตตันเดรัสสะภวตุเตจะยังมังคลานินาลาคิริงกัจจวะอติมาตะโพตังทาวะกิจกรรมสเนวสุธารุนันตังเมตตามบุเสกเวตินาจิตวามุเนนโตตันเดดัสสะภวตุเตทยามังคลานิโอเกตกะกรรมติหาตสุธารุนันตังทาวันติโยจนะปะทานกุริมาละวันตังเอเตติสังกตมโนจิตวามุเนนโตตันเดจะสาภวตุเตจะยามังคลานิกัตวานกัตถมุตตังยิวะคาปินิยาเจนจายโตตวัจนะจนกายมาเตสันเทนะโสมวิตินาจิตวามุนินโนกันเตจะสาภวตุเตจะยะมังคลานิสัจจังวิหายมติสัจจกวาทะเกตุงวาปิโรอปิตมนังอติตะโพตังปัญญาปฏิปัจจาริโตจิตวะมุเนนโตตันเตภวตุเตจะยังกาลานินันโตปันตะปุจจกังวิปุตตังมัยเตงปุตเตนะเตระปุจจเกนะธรรมาปยันโตอิตุปะเทสวิตินาจิตวามุเนนโตตันเตภวตุเตจะยามังคลานิโตกาติกิปุจจเกนะสุทหาตังพระมังวิสุทธิตุติเมติปกาทิดานัญญาณมวิตินาจิตวามุเนนโตตันเตจะสาภวตุเตจะยามังคลานิเอตาปิปุตตะจะยามังคลาอาตกาตาวาจโนตินาติเนตระเดมดันติหิตวานันเนกวิวิตานิจุปัฏฐวังสุขังอติกัมยานโรสปันมหาการุณิโกนาหิตายาสาปปานิโปเรตวาปารมิสัพพะปะโตสัมทิมุตตมังเนเตตัจวัฏเทนะโหตุเตจะยังกลังจะยันโตโพธิยาโมเลสักยานานเทวะตโนเอวังกวังวิจโยโหอิตยาสุจยมังคะเลอภิราทิตปันนังเกติเสปตวิปุคะเรงอภิเสเกสัพพะพุทธานังนาคาปัตโตปโมสติสุนาคาตังตุมังคารัง สุปาพาตังสุติตังสุขโนสุมาอุจะสุเยตังพระมัจจาริสุปตากินังกายกรรมังวาจากรรมังปทากินังปทากินังมโนกรรมังปณิเตเตปทากินังปทากินังนิกัตวานลปันตัสปทากินภวตุสาปมังกลังราการตุสาวัตตาสาปพุทธานุภาเวนัสตาโสเตภวตุเตภวตุสาปมังกลังราการตุสาวัตตาสาปธรรมานุภาเวนัสตาโสเตภวตุเตภวตุสาปมังกลังราการตุสาปวัตตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนัสตาโสเทภวันตุเต
His Holiness สมเด็จพระอริยวงศาคติยาน the Supreme Patriarch presents the precept in 3 chapters. The first is to pay respect to the Lord Buddha, the homage to the Blessed One. The second is the three refuges, and thirdly, undertaking the 5 precepts. Upon the completion, 30 monks that chanted the Buddhist mantras the previous day present their blessings. His Majesty the King proceeds to make the offerings of food contained in tiffin carriers to His Holiness the Supreme Patriarch, honorific monks at the level of Samdet Parachakana and Parachakana, until all 10 sanghas have been presented with the offerings. Buddhist monks, especially in the Theravada tradition, practiced in countries like Thailand, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Laos, usually eat 1 or 2 meals a day or taken before noon. After midday, they do not eat solid food until dawn of the next day. This rule comes from the Vinaya, the monastic code established by the Lord Buddha. His Majesty the King takes his royal seat. Another group of 20 monks will now receive the offerings of food contained within the tiffin carriers. His Majesty the King graciously designates members of the royal family, royal cousins, members of the Privy Council, and high-ranking officials to present the offerings. As to the Vinaya, dictating that 1 or 2 meals to be taken by the monks before noon, its purpose is the simplicity and mindfulness. The goal is not to self-punish, but to be mindful, to have mindful moderation. It prevents the indulgence and attachment to taste or comfort, and it frees time and energy for meditation and study. It helps the sanghas or monks to live simply and depend on what lay people offer, cultivating gratitude and humility. Monks see food as fuel for the body, not as pleasure. Before eating, they reflect with a short chant, I take this food not for enjoyment, not for fattening, but only to sustain this body and to continue the holy life. Officials are now laying the Prapusayong, the long, auspicious, decorated piece of robe, extending it from the royal urn to the monastic platform, supported at intervals by the stand, decorated stand. This serves as a symbolic connector for the merit being made by His Majesty the King of the offering of the saffron robes to the monks. This merit can then be transmitted to the royal urn. His Majesty the King now presenting the robes to all the 10 honorific monks. In a moment, there will be the pouring of lustre water to disseminate the merit made. And in the sacred traditions of Thai royal rites related to funeral, there's a moment of profound meaning. A moment when devotion becomes visible through a single graceful act, the pouring of lustre water.
Anicca vata sankhara upathavaya dhammino upachitava nirucchanti te sangvopasamo sukho
ถาวาริวหาปุราปริปุเรนติสาคลังเอวเมวะอิโตทินังเอตานังอุปกัปปติอิจิตังปฏิตังตุมหังคิปะเมวะสมิจจตุสัพเพปุเรนโตสังกปาจันโทปนรโสยถามณิโชติรโสยถา
สัพพิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวัตวันตรายโยสุขิติกายุโกภวสัพพิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวัตวันตรายโยสุขิติกายุโกภวสัพพิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวัตวันตรายโยสุขิติกายุโกภวะอภิวาทนาติเลสเนจังวุฒาปจายโนจัตตารโอธรรมาวัฏันติอายุวันโนสุขังภาลังอัตถาสิเมอาคาสิเมยาติเมตตาสังฆาจะเมเปตานังดาอินังดาธาปุเพกตมโนสรังนาหิโรนะวาโสโกวายาวันยาปริเทวนานาตังเปตานามัตถายาเอวังติตันติยาตโยอายัญจะโกทาคินาเกนาสังฆามิสุปฏิทิตาเลหรัตตังอิตายาจัตถานโสอุปกาปฏิโสยาติธรรมโมจะอายัมนิทัตติโตเป ปเทนังโตเมหิปุญญาปสุตังพนาปตานเต
อติเรกวัตตังทีวโตอติเรกวัตตังทีวโตอติเรกวัตตังทีวโตทีกายุโกโหตุอโรโกโหตุทีกายุโกโหตุอโรโกโหตุสุขิโตโหตุปรเมนทมหาราชาสัพพรมราชินีสิทธิปิจจังสิทธิกัมมังสิทธิราโภจโยนิจังปรเมนทมหาราชวรสะปณิปรมริยาสหะโพตุสัพพทาขอถวายพระพร
ภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนัสสะโสติภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพธรรมานุภาเวนัสสะโสติภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนัสสะโสติภวันตุเตขอถวายพระพรเจริญพระราชสิริสวัสดิ์พิพัฒนมงคลพระชนมสุขทุกประการจงมีแด่สมเด็จบรมบพิตรพระราชสมภารเจ้าทั้งสองพระองค์ผู้มีผู้ทรงพระคุณอันประเสริฐเวลานี้สมควรแล้วอาตมาภาพทั้งปวงขอถวายพระพรลาแด่สมเด็จบรมบพิตรพระราชสมภารเจ้าทั้งสองพระองค์ผู้ทรงพระคุณอันประเสริฐขอถวายพระพร
Following the pouring of the lustre water as a gesture of disseminating merit made to the deceased by Their Majesties the King and Queen, the monks chant Anumotana and benedictions in 6 chants, comprising the water pouring blessing, Sappi, the So Atalato verse, the blessing for Their Majesties the King and Queen, the Sappa Mongkonkata verse, and the benediction of farewell. At the conclusion, the monks will then depart from the throne hall. Officials will then invite the next group of 10 monks to take their seats on the monastic platform. There will be 2 rounds of the 10 monks per group who will be invited for this part of the ceremony. You can see the auspicious robe, long auspicious robe or streamers, supported by intervening stands, serve to connect the monastic platform and the royal urn of a deceased royal member. In this case, the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. They are consecrated cloth streamers mounted on ceremonial supporting stands, allowing the streamers to be elevated and untwisted through the right. Their purpose is to form a symbolic and spiritual connection between the deceased royal personage and the merit-making act performed by the monks on their behalf. The material may be made of fine white or gold cloth, often silk or cotton, sometimes bordered with gold thread or lined with a thin white code. For royal ceremonies, royal funeral ceremony, often white, cream or light gold, symbolizing purity and merit, are used, and the length of which need to be long enough to extend continuously from the base of the royal urn or the front of the catafalque to the monk's seats, typically along an elevated pathway. The supporting stand may be topped with lotus or flame motifs reflecting royal symbolism. The streamer begins at the royal urn and passes through or over several supporting stands and ends near the monastic platform. When the king or a royal representative performs the offering of saffron robes, the monks touch the robe or the streamer connected to the royal urn, and this act completes the symbolic circuit of merit from royal donor via the sangha to the deceased royal. So these streamers are installed before the ceremony begins, aligned with decorative supporting stands arranged in continuity, remain untouched except by the designated attendants who handle the sacred connection under instruction, and they are removed reverently after the completion of the ceremony. So this is the representative of the spiritual link of merit and compassion, uniting the royal donor, the sangha, and the departed in one continuous act of tan or dana and remembrance. His Majesty the King will proceed to offer the saffron robes to the monks, and then they will respond by the chanting of Sadappakorn verse. We have witnessed the offering of the food contained in the tiffin carriers, the practice of morning alms round or bindabat takes place every morning for Buddhist monks. They go on an alms round, walking silently through villages or towns to receive food offerings from lay people. This tradition dates back to the time of the Lord Buddha over 2,500 years ago, and remains a living connection between the monastic community or sangha and the society. The alms round is not begging, it's a practice of humility, interdependence and compassion. Monks go with empty bowls as a symbol of letting go of pride and desire. They receive whatever is offered without choosing as an act of acceptance and equanimity. Lay people give food as an act of generosity or tama or tan. So the set of 10 monks that have just chanted the Sadappakorn verse is now leaving the hall. The next group of 10 monks will now be invited by the court officials to take their seats on the monastic platform. And again, His Majesty the King will proceed to offer the royal robes to the monks, and they will respond by chanting the Sadappakorn verse, the requiem for the deceased. I was mentioning about the morning round of alms. Lay people give food as an act of generosity or tan or dana, one of the most important Buddhist virtues to support the monk's spiritual path. And so both sides practice the Dharma. The monks cultivate detachment and gratitude, while the lay people cultivate generosity and joy in giving. The practice creates a reciprocal relationship between the monastic and lay communities. And this mutual dependence reinforces the Buddhist ideal of a harmonious and compassionate society. For monks, walking mindfully and silently through the community is a form of moving meditation. For lay people, preparing and offering food with good intention cultivates mindfulness and a moment of peace at the start of the day. In countries like Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka, the morning alms round also represents a peaceful rhythm of daily life, a visible reminder of spiritual values in a busy world. The sight of saffron-robed monks receiving alms in silence symbolizes purity, compassion, and the continuity of the Buddha's teaching. Every morning, Buddhist monks go on an alms round and walking silently through villages or towns to receive food offerings from lay people. As for some of the important restrictions on the daily conduct of Buddhist monks, these are based on the Vinaya or monastic discipline. All Buddhist monks live under a code of discipline called the Vinaya or Vinay, established by the Buddha himself over 2,500 years ago. And the Theravada monks follow 227 precepts that guide behavior, speech, diet, relationships, and use of possessions. Some of the key daily restrictions include no eating after the noontime. Monks may have only 1 or 2 meals before noon and abstain from solid food until dawn the next day. This trains moderation, mindfulness, and detachment from craving. No handling of money. Monks cannot buy, sell, or keep money. They depend entirely on lay supporters for food, clothing, shelter, and medicine, cultivating humility and gratitude. Monks live under strict celibacy to preserve purity of mind and focus on spiritual development. They avoid singing, dancing, watching shows, wearing ornaments, perfumes, or luxurious clothing, maintaining simplicity and concentration. A monk may only keep the basic requisites like 3 robes, an alms bowl, a belt, a needle, a razor, and a water filter. This supports the principle of non-attachment and equality. Monks avoid idle talk, false speech, harsh words, and gossip. They cultivate right speech, speaking only what is truthful, beneficial, and kind. And they cannot engage in business, politics, fortune-telling, or any profession for income. Their role is purely spiritual and educational, not economical or political. These restrictions are spiritual disciplines designed to simplify life and reduce distractions.
จาวตสังขาราอุปาทวยธรรมิโนอุปัจจิตวานิรุจฉันติเตสังอุปสุโข
His Majesty the King has offered saffron robes to the next group of 10 monks, and they responded by chanting Sadapagon verse. Next, officials will invite 11 monks from the 93 monks participating in the Sadapagon chanting to the monastic platform. This total number of 96 is equivalent to the age of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. They will chant the Matika verse for the deceased. The officials will also lay the Prapusayong, the streamers for the funeral rite, for each round of the saffron robe offerings. And His Majesty the King will proceed to lay the offerings of saffron robes for each group of the monks, starting with his first group. I mentioned about the various code of conduct as dictated, established by the Lord Buddha, known as Pravinaya or Vinaya. The purpose behind the rules and the restrictions are spiritual disciplines. These are designed to simplify life and reduce distractions, to strengthen mindfulness and self-control, to build trust between the monastic and lay communities, to enable monks to devote their time fully to meditation and teaching the Dhamma. As for restriction on food for Buddhist monks live under a code of Vinaya that includes detailed rules about food. These are not merely dietary customs, but spiritual practices that cultivate mindfulness, moderation, and gratitude. Monks have 1 or 2 meals a day, or taken before 12 noon. After midday, they may drink only certain liquids like water, juice, or clear broth, but no solid food. This rule trains them to live simply, avoid indulgence, and maintain awareness of bodily needs rather than desires. Monks do not cook or store food. They depend entirely on lay people for their food. Every morning, monks go on an alms round, as I mentioned, Bindabada or Bindabat, to receive offerings. They accept whatever is given without asking for specific items. This is a practice of contentment and humility. And food must be received properly. Monks can only eat what has been offered directly into their alms bowl or presented respectfully by lay people. They may not take food by themselves, steal, or request luxury dishes. Once the offering ceremony is complete, monks may eat the food in silence and mindfulness, reflecting on its purpose, not for pleasure, not for fattening, not for adornment, but only for sustaining this body and continuing the holy life. And there's no eating after it had been stored overnight. Leftover food from the previous day cannot be consumed. The practice prevents attachment to taste, hoarding, and waste, while encouraging daily dependence on the generosity of others. There are no permanent religious taboos on specific foods, such as meat or vegetarian-only rules, but monks may not eat meat from animals killed specifically for them, human flesh, intoxicants, or blood, and anything obtained through improper means. If lay donors happen to offer meat that was not specifically slaughtered for monks, it is considered acceptable to eat, following the Buddha's teaching on neutral acceptance and non-attachment. Eating is considered part of spiritual training, so they need to have mindful consumption. Monks eat slowly, silently, and with full awareness, seeing food as medicine for the body, not pleasure for the tongue. So, in summary, Buddhist monks eat only before noon, accept only what is offered, do not cook or store food, and eat with mindfulness and gratitude. These rules remind them, and the lay people who support them, that life's sustenance is a shared practice of compassion, moderation, and interdependence. We have seen a number of honorific monks participating over the last 7 days on the occasion of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony for the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. Monastic order of the Sangha is quite detailed and has been developing over a very long period of time. The term Sangha refers to the monastic community of ordained Buddhist monks. In Pali, this is known as Bhikkhu, who live according to the monastic code or Vinaya or Vinay. In Thailand and many Theravada countries, the Sangha is institutionalized. There is a hierarchical and administrative structure covering major orders or nikaya or nikai, religious divisions, and also local temples. At the national level in Thailand, the highest monastic office is Somdet Prasankarat, or the Supreme Patriarch, who is appointed by the king and leads the Sangha throughout the country. Beneath the Supreme Patriarch, there are subordinate levels of monastic administration, provincial, district, temple, and abbot levels, which handle local affairs of monks, discipline, ordination, education, and so on. Functionally, the Sangha maintains the training, ordination, and discipline of monks, preserves and teaches the Dhamma, the Buddhist doctrine, and Vinaya, the discipline. The Sangha provides a moral, educational, and social role in society. Monks teach, counsel, lead meditation, and perform rituals. The Sangha participates in national, regional religious organizations, often under royal or state patronage. Within the monastic order, especially in countries with a monarchy like Thailand, there's a tradition of honorific, ecclesiastical titles or ranks bestowed by the king or the monarch to monks of high merit, seniority, or outstanding service. These titles do not necessarily create new doctrinal functions, but signify recognition, status, and formal rank within the monastic hierarchy. For example, พระราชาคณะ เจ้าคณะใหญ่ พระครู The highest of these titles may be held by monks who also serve in administrative leadership roles of the Sangha. For example, the Supreme Patriarch receives an appointment from the king. The system of honorific ranks in Thailand is specified in law and regulation, for example, under the Sangha administration statutes, and includes 9 major levels and over 20 distinct ranks. And these appointments often come with privileges, higher status in monastic gatherings, greater responsibility, and sometimes government or royal support. According to the Thai Public Relations Department, level 1 of the ranking structure is the Supreme Patriarch, สมเด็จพระสังฆราช สกลมหาสังฆปรินายก The second level is the Great Sangha Leader
สะท้อนให้เห็นถึง
and the Chief Provincial Sangha. The level 3 is the Royal Rank Monks, the พระราชาคณะ divided into subclasses, for example, Tham level, Tep level, Rat level, and Ordinary level. The monarchy, by granting these titles, reinforces the connection between the state and the Sangha, align monastic authority with royal patronage and national religion. For lay people, the title of monk signifies his standing, experience, and trustworthiness. It helps in identifying senior teachers, abbots, and spiritual leaders. It honors monks who have earned merit, upheld discipline, taught widely, and contributed to Sangha and society. The hierarchy enables organization of the Sangha, oversight of monastic discipline, education, ordination, and relations with the state. You are watching the live telecast of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony on the occasion of the 7th day or Sattamawan following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother.
สังกิเลสิกาธรรมาสังกิริทัสสังกิเลสิกาธรรมาสวิตากสวิจาราธรรมาวิตากวิจารมัตตาธรรมาวิตากวิจาราธรรมาปิติสัพพตาสุขสัพพตาธรรมาอุเบกขาสัพพตาธรรมาเนนะปะหาตาภาธรรมาภาวนา
This group of 11 monks from the 93 monks participating in the chanting have delivered the Martika verse for the deceased. His Majesty the King is now laying the offerings of saffron robes for this group of 11 monks. As merit making, he's placing the saffron robes in a 90-degree angulation to the prapusayong, or the streamers used in relation to the funeral rites of members of the royal family. You can see that the pusayong, the prapusayong, is placed on top of a long piece of white cloth to avoid the direct contact between the prapusayong, the streamer, and the surface of the monastic platform, to maintain its auspiciousness and purity of the prapusayong, which is regarded as highly auspicious.
Anicca vata sanghara upatoya dhammino upakkhitāvā nirucchanti te sangho pasamo sukham.
A requiem for the deceased. Court official disconnected.
Awali waha pula pali pulenti sa thalang eva meva ito tinnang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipameva samichato sapphe pulentu sankapa Chanto Pannalaso Yatha Manicho Tilaso Yatha Satiriyo Vivachantu Sapparo Vinam Satumate Bhavatman Darayo Sruti Ayuko Bhavasabhiโสยติธรรมโมจะยังนิทัสสิโตเปตานักบูชาจะกตาอุราลาภลันจะวิขุนมโนปทินนันตุปุญญังปัสสุตังอนาปการติสรมาภรังราคันอติเลกวัสสตังชีวโตอติเลกวัสสตังชีวโตอติเลกวัสสตังชีวโตทีฆายุโกโหตุอ อโรโกโหตุทีคายุโกโหตุอโรโกโหตุสุขิโตโหตุปรมินทรมหาราชาปรมราชาปรมราชินีสิทธิกิจจังสิทธิกัมมังสิทธิลาโภชยโยนิจังปรมินทรมหาราชวรัสสะปรมราชินียาสหภวตุสัพพทาขอถวายพระพรโอตุสัพพมังคลังราคะตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุเวนัสธาโสติภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคะตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพธัมมานุเวนัสธาโสติภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังคลังราคะตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุเวนัสธาโสติภวันตุเตขอถวายพระพรเจริญพระราชสิริวัฒน์ที่พัฒมงคลพระชนสู่ทุกประการจงมีแด่สมเด็จพระบรมพระราชทานเจ้าพระองค์ผู้ทรงอภิเษกทุกของพระองค์เวลานี้สมควรแล้วอาตมาภาพทั้งปวงขอถวายพระพรแด่สมเด็จพระบรมพระราชทานเจ้าทุกของพระองค์ผู้ทรงอันประเสริฐขอถวายพระพร
Monks, following the offering of the 7 robes to the monks by His Majesty the King, Their Majesties the King and Queen poured the lustre water as a gesture of disseminating merit made to the deceased. The monks then chant Anumodana and benediction in 6 parts. The first part is the water pouring blessing, followed by Sapi So the chanting by the congregation of monks of Anumodana and benedictions, consisting of 6 parts: the water pouring blessing, the Sapi, the So Attalato verse, the blessing for their majesties or Tawai Adirek, the Sappamongkun Kata verse, and the benediction of farewell. And then followed by the departure of the congregation of monks from the hall of Dusit Mahaprasad, throne hall. Now the next group of monks are taking their seats on the monastic platform for the next part of the merit-making ceremony, the offering of the saffron robes to this new group of monks. This will continue until all the total of 93 monks have received the offering of the saffron robes from His Majesty the King, Her Majesty Queen and members of the royal family, according to the royal designation of His Majesty. I have mentioned earlier on about the fan of rank, the honorific fan being bestowed upon the senior honorific monks by the monarch. The fan of rank is an official insignia of ecclesiastical rank bestowed upon a monk by the king, and it serves as a symbol of royal recognition and is presented together with a royal ecclesiastical title or higher honor. The fan represents spiritual authority, dignity, and status within the Sangha or the monastic order.
Anicca vata sankhara upadavaya dhammino upajitava nirucchanti te sangupassamo sukho.
The next group of monks will now be taking their seats on the monastic platform. You can see their fans of rank being carried by the court officials, and these fans of ranks represent spiritual authority, dignity, and status within the Sangha, the monastic order. It is the monastic equivalent of a royal or state decoration, an emblem of the monk's position and honor, not a functional fan. Each fan is carefully designed and differs according to rank. The shape may be oval, pointed, or flame-shaped. Material may be embroidered silk, velvet, or metallic thread. Insignia may appear the royal emblem, tiered umbrellas, or the Garuda seal, and the inscription of the monk's full honorific title will be on the fan of rank. It is kept beside the monk's seat or held during formal occasions such as royal ceremonies, Sangha assemblies, or Dharma sermons. Never used for fanning oneself. The king personally or by command bestows the fan of rank when conferring ecclesiastical titles. It is one of the most sacred and prestigious items a monk can receive in his lifetime, marking royal recognition of his virtue, learning, and service to Buddhism and the nation. A commemorative fan, on the other hand, is not an insignia of rank, but a souvenir or offering fan presented to monks or used in ceremonies to commemorate special occasions such as royal anniversaries, temple dedications, cremations, or merit-making ceremonies. These commemorative fans may be embroidered or painted with images of temples, royal crests, or other event emblems. It bears the name and date of the event or donor rather than a royal title. It can be produced in many identical copies and is not a royal award. Monks may use it when chanting or giving sermons, but it has no hierarchical significance. So, the fan of rank is a royally bestowed insignia of ecclesiastical dignity, signifying the recipient's recognized service and spiritual merit within the Buddhist monastic hierarchy. while the commemorative fan is a symbol of remembrance or offering used to mark occasions or merit-making events without conferring rank or official authority. The saffron robes are being offered by His Majesty the King to a new group of honorific monks. The distinctive features of fans of rank, for example, the shape and the outline. The fan is often palmate, sort of hand fan shape, with a pointed top, sometimes flame-shaped or rounded top. This helps identify its ceremonial nature and distinguishes it from a regular fan. The shape may vary by rank. Higher ranks often have more elaborate outlines. First finish of the fans of rank. High rank fans are made with silk or velvet background, richly embroidered with gold thread, silver thread, or even gold leaf. The quality of embroidery and the materials used reflect the status of the holder. For the color scheme and embroidery, typical color combinations include deep navy blue, maroon, black, or green background with gold embroidery. Embroidery often uses motifs such as tiered umbrellas or chat, lotus petals, or flame motifs or kanok. The number of umbrellas or tiers may correspond to rank. 9-tier umbrella symbol denotes very high rank. The fan may also bear the royal emblem or the cipher of the king or the royal Garuda somewhere near the top center or embroidered onto the fan. This indicates that the fan was royally bestowed and not self-made or generic. Many fans include a title inscription, the monk's rank, and ecclesiastical title. And this inscription shows the specific rank held by the monk. As for the handle, the staff, the mounting, some fans are mounted on a wood or ivory handle, often lacquered or gilded, so that the fan can be held upright during ceremonies. For processions or formal appearances, the fan may be placed beside the monk's seat as part of his regalia. The occasions when monks use their teleport fans are, for example, during chanting or blessings, when giving sermons, chanting sutras, or performing blessings. Monks often hold the fan upright in front of their faces. The fan acts as a visual screen, symbolizing humility. The monk speaks not as an individual person, but as a representative of the Buddha's teaching or Dharma. It also helps the audience focus on the sacred words rather than the individual monk. It may also be used during royal or state ceremonies. High-ranking monks use their fans of rank during formal occasions such as royal religious ceremonies, for example, royal cremations, ordinations, or merit-making rites, when seated before their majesties or members of the royal family, or when receiving or bestowing blessings in official events. In these contexts, the fan signifies the monk's office and dignity, similar to regalia of state officials. During funeral and memorial rites, monks hold their fans while chanting funeral prayers, Abhidharma chanting. It symbolizes both solemnity and reverence for the deceased, and again keeps the focus on the Dharma recitation, not the person. It may also be used during ordination ceremonies, when ordaining new monks or novices, senior monks may hold a fan while chanting the ordination formula or giving instruction, marking the ceremony's sacredness. His Majesty the King graciously designates Her Majesty the Queen to present the offering of saffron robes to this group of honorific monks as merit-making.
นิจจาวัตสังขาราอุปาทวยธรรมิโนอุปัชชิตวานิรุชชันติเตสังอุปสมโมสุขโข
Following the presentation of saffron robes to the monks by Her Majesty the Queen, the monks respond by chanting the Sadapakon verse. This is a group of 10 honorific monks taking part. The court officials will now invite the next group of 10 honorific monks to take their seats on the monastic platform. When the monks use the fans of rank, they'll be holding the fans vertically in the left hand, resting the base of their handle lightly on his lap or the floor. The fan's face is turned outward, concealing part or all of the face. He does not move the fan or use it to cool himself. This gesture represents composure, respect, and non-self, focusing on the teaching, not the teacher. The monk sits cross-legged, lotus or half-lotus, keeping the fan steady during chanting or speaking. During royal or highly formal events, the fan is placed upright beside his seat when not in use. During chanting, if several monks are chanting, all hold their fans in the same position, creating a visual harmony, a symbolic image of unity in discipline or vinaya or vinay. After the chant, they lower the fans gracefully to their sides before resuming normal posture. In processions, a monk may carry the fan before his chest, held upright with both hands, a gesture of solemn dignity and reverence. The gestures reflect Buddhist ideals. Modesty, hiding the face, expresses humility. Restraint, keeping still, shows mindfulness and discipline. Non-self, the voice of the Dharma, not the ego, is what speaks through the screen of the fan. And respect, using the fan correctly, is an act of honoring both the audience and the teaching. So Buddhist monks use their teleport fans during chanting, blessing, and formal or royal ceremonies, never as personal fans, but as symbols of mindfulness, dignity, and non-self. The monk holds the fan upright and still, partially concealing his face to signify that the words being spoken are the Buddha's teaching, not personal speech. The fan thus embodies both humility and authority, linking the modern monk to an unbroken lineage of monastic discipline and devotion. Her Majesty the Queen has been designated by His Majesty the King to offer the presentation of saffron robes to this new set of monks. Soon the monks will respond by chanting the Sadapakon verse, which is the requiem for the deceased. The merit made will be symbolically transferred to the royal urn of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, via the consecrated cloth streamers, known in Thai as Prapu Sayong.
เทสังอุปสมโมสุโข
You can see this long robe of Prapusayong, the consecrated water streamers stretched between the royal urn and the monastic platform where monks are seated to receive offerings. And they are mounted on ceremonial supporting stands, allowing the streamers to be elevated and untwisted throughout the rite. Their purpose is to form a symbolic and spiritual connection between the deceased royal personage and the merit-making act performed by the monks on their behalf. The streamers serve as a symbolic conduit through which the merit generated by the offering is transferred from the living, i.e. those performing the offering, to the deceased royal, represented by the royal urn, and this reflects the Buddhist concept of dedication of merit. The continuous untarnished cloth signifies purity of intention, continuity of spiritual energy, and reverence for the royal personage. When the king or a royal representative performs the offering of saffron robes, the monks touch the robe or the streamer connected to the urn, to the royal urn. This act completes the symbolic circuit of merit from the royal donor via the Sangha to the deceased royal. So during the royal merit-making rites, following royal death, these streamers are installed before the ceremony begins, linking the royal urn in the Dusit Mahaprasad throne hall to the monastic platform, and they are aligned with decorative supporting stands, remain untouched except by the designated attendants who handle the sacred connection under instruction, and are removed reverently after the completion of the ceremony. You can see this long piece of white cloth being laid before the congregation of monks, and then the Prapusayong is then stretched out on top of that long white piece of cloth. This is to avoid the direct contact between Prapusayong and the surface of the monastic platform. So these Prapusayong represent the spiritual link of merit and compassion, serving as the uniter between the royal donor, the Sangha, and the departed one in one continuous act of Tan or Dana and remembrance. Her Majesty the Queen is now making the offering of the saffron robes on behalf of His Majesty the King, as graciously designated by His Majesty, to this group of honorific monks. You're watching the live telecast of the Royal Merit-Making Ceremony on the occasion of the 7th day following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit. Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother's recognition by foreign universities was well established in the 60s when Central Escola University of the Philippines bestowed on Her Majesty a Doctor of Humanities honoris causa degree in 1980. Her Majesty, traveling with Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn, visited Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University, Medford, Massachusetts. The Fletcher School, conducted jointly by Tufts and Harvard Universities, is recognized as one of the top schools for diplomacy and international relations in the world. There to receive an honorary doctorate degree of human letters on the 4th of March 1980, presented by Mr. Theodore Elliott, Dean of the Fletcher School and a former U.S. ambassador, in recognition of her work to help Cambodian refugees, especially infants. This is a theme that was formally recognized. Her Majesty had been instrumental in the border being open for refugees, and thousands of lives of Cambodian men, women and children had been saved. Perhaps one of the most intriguing awards presented was an honorary fellowship from the 470-year-old Royal College of Physicians of London on recognition of Her Majesty's humanitarian work. This took place at the Chakri Throne Hall, Grand Palace, on the 1st of May 1988. The Royal College of Physicians was represented by Sir Raymond Hoffenberg, his president from 1983 to 1989, and himself a former refugee from apartheid in South Africa. Sir Raymond informed Her Majesty that the Royal College of Physicians of London offers fellowships only to those who are really suitable. Most are medical doctors and scientists who are famous and well known in medicine and other related sciences. The fellows of the college know that Your Majesty has performed many activities for the progress of both medical science and public health. Your Majesty has formed royal medical units and sent volunteer medical doctors to give medical care to people in impoverished areas. Your Majesty also goes to supervise the treatment of those people yourself. A few years later, on the 18th of January 1991, the medical world bestowed upon Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, a further honorary fellowship, this time from the Royal College of Physicians of Thailand, again honoring her devotion to humanitarian work. Her Majesty's humanitarian work was provided for the poor, yet outside Thailand it was most often the rich who were aware of it. The wealthy in America had several notable families known for their altruism, none more so than the Rockefellers. The honorary recognize Her Majesty's effort. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn has been graciously designated by His Majesty the King to offer the saffron robes to this group of monks as merit-making for the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. Mr. Kurt Waldheim, the then United Nations Secretary General, presented the first Thai-proof coins in series commemorating the International Year of the Child on the 12th of November 1981 at the Dag Hammarskjöld Library in New York. Concurrently, in 1981, Her Majesty was taking more steps to lend her assistance to rural families and established the Royal Medical Project and supplementary occupations at a military camp in Chonburi province towards the east of Bangkok, which was built for soldiers' families and the people who lived there.
นิจจาวัตสังขาราวุปาทวยธรรมิโนอุปัชชิตวานิรุชันติเตสังอุปสัมโมสุโข
On the 19th of June 1982, Her Majesty was also presented with UNICEF's coins commemorating International Year of the Child at the Borompiman Throne Hall. This was the year that Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, gave the name ป่ารักน้ำ to her first reforestation project set up at Songdao district in Sukunakorn province. Her Majesty's work continued to draw the attention of the United Nations. On the 2nd of August 1992, Her Majesty was awarded both the UNICEF Special Recognition Award and the UNIFEM Award of Excellence in recognition of her dedication in supporting the role of Thai women in developing the country. The UNICEF Special Recognition Award had never before been presented to a single individual. It was usually given to organizations and was awarded in this instance in recognition of her sacrifice and dedication in developing the quality of life for mother and child in Thailand. This emphasis on Her Majesty's humanitarian activities was recognized once more by a United Nations body, the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. On the 30th of January 1992, when the organization awarded Her Majesty the Borobudur Gold Medal at Salatham Pavilion, Chiang Mai University in the north of Thailand. The Secretary General of UNESCO, Mr. Federico Meyer, presented the award, noting that Her Majesty had for over 40 years devoted herself to improving the lives of the poor by providing them with the work that develop and preserve their cultural heritage. The award ceremony took place at the opening of the Asian Weaving Heritage, Handicraft and Industry Fair in celebration of Her Majesty's 60th birthday, and once again it proved to be an occasion in which Her Majesty could highlight the handicrafts and arts that the Thai people had on show at the time. Besides Her Majesty's work for the rural poor in terms of vocational education, she had also paid special attention to Thai women, gaining the reputation of an emancipated woman herself and an example of Thai womanhood. The Ceres medals from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, or FAO, were presented to Her Majesty in recognition of an outstanding person who had devoted her life to the improvement of the lives of women and people in rural areas. The FAO started making the Ceres medals in 1971 with the aim of honoring women who have contributed to the benefit of agriculture, nutrition, social welfare, women's rights and education, while FAO itself was set up to wipe out starvation and poverty. The medals were presented to Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, in recognition of her work with women at the Chakri Throne Hall on the 11th of May 1979. Her Majesty was presented the medal by the Food and Agriculture Director, Dr. Edward Soma, and Dr. D.L. Umali, who was the representative of the FAO for Asia and the Far East. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sarinthorn has been graciously designated to offer the saffron robes to this group of honorific monks on his behalf. Dr. Soma noted in his address that Her Majesty the Queen of Thailand, whose mind is filled with virtue, has always kindly assisted her people, especially the poor and needy in rural areas. Her Majesty has devoted her time and life to social service. She has cooperated with social welfare organizations and charitable organizations to alleviate the suffering of the poor by providing food and shelter for the starved and homeless, including orphans.
อิจาวัตสังฆาราอุปาทวยธรรมิโนโอกาชิตวานิรุจันติเตสังอุปสมโมสุโภ
Her As I mentioned about the tireless medals from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, or FAO, Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, received both silver and gold medals. The silver slightly larger. One side of the medals shows Her Majesty and the other shows a female Thai farmer with the words, "To give without discrimination." An excerpt in the official citation reads, "For your far-sighted efforts to advance the status of women, as expressed in the royal patronage of organizations and programs providing educational and training opportunities to enable women to improve their economic and social welfare while enhancing appreciation for their national cultural heritage." In the most recent international recognition of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother's efforts to improve the health and quality of life of ordinary people, the United Nations body, the World Health Organization, or WHO, presented the first Food Safety Award to Her Majesty on the 9th of August 2005. WHO Director General Dr. Lee Jong-wook presented the award to Her Majesty in recognition of Her Majesty's outstanding and notable efforts in promoting food safety in the country. The award presentation ceremony took place at the Ananta Samakom Throne Hall in Bangkok to coincide with the 6th Global Conference on Health Promotion held in Bangkok from the 7th to the 11th of August. The award was presented at a special ceremony in the presence of over 100 dignitaries, including the WHO Regional Director for Southeast Asia, the Assistant Director General for Non-Communicable Diseases and Mental Health, and the WHO representative to Thailand. As the first recipient of this award, WHO wished to compliment Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, for her devotion and contribution to the promotion of food safety among the Thai people, particularly those living in remote areas. Food safety had always been an important issue for Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, as we saw on numerous occasions, having initiated model farms in rural areas, for instance, to create more food sources and provide jobs for local people to make a living. Her Majesty helped to reduce chemical use in food production and provided information on health measures against chemical hazards in daily life. Addressing the Assembly of Well-Wishers on the eve of her birthday anniversary in 1988, Her Majesty the Queen pointed out that good health was very important, as people would be better equipped to contribute to the progress and prosperity of the country. On the occasion of Her Majesty's 72nd birthday anniversary in 2004, the Ministry of Public Health published the book Kin Tam Mae, or Eat What Your Mother Does, featuring Her Majesty's own choice of nutritious food. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sarinthorn, on behalf of His Majesty the King, is now offering saffron robes to honorific monks taking their seats on the monastic platform. He's placing the offerings on top of the Prapusayong, the streamers, which is connected to the royal urn. Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, also became well known globally for giving her time and energy to the poor, the homeless, sick, and those with little or no hope. Her humanitarianism was to strike a chord in the hearts of many Westerners who acknowledged her role played in the development of the country. For instance, the first International Humanitarian Award on the 1st of November 1991, presented by Mrs. Esther Cooper Smith, President of the Friends of the Capitol Children's Museum of Washington and the Sheraton Hotel, Washington, D.C.
อนิจจาวัตสังขาราอุปาทวยธรรมิโนอุปัชชิตวานิรุจจันติเตสังอุปัสสโมสุโข
The first International Humanitarian Award on the 1st of November 1991, presented to Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, by Mrs. Esther Cooper Smith, President of the Friends of the Capitol Children's Museum of Washington, at the Sheraton Hotel, Washington, D.C., was for Her Majesty's work with refugees and especially children. The presentation ceremony was performed on the 1st of November 1991 at the VIP room of the Sheraton Hotel, Washington, D.C. Other receivers of this award were Mrs. Barbara Bush for her campaign to erase illiteracy and Mrs. Nancy Reagan for her work in the prevention of drug addiction. Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, became the first ever non-American award recipient. The citation on the Asia Society's Humanitarian Award, presented to Her Majesty on the 14th of March 1985, described Her Majesty's role in assisting women. With far-sightedness, Her Majesty has done nearly every possible thing to raise women's social status, such as by patronizing many societies and organizations and initiating projects to educate and train women so that they may be able to raise their economic status and social welfare while encouraging them to appreciate their Thai heritage of traditional art and culture. Conferred in New York by the President of the Asia Society, Mr. Robert B. Oxnam, Her Majesty had become the very first recipient of the award since its foundation, in honor of Her Majesty's work concerning the conservation of Thai village handicrafts and her work in raising the status of women. His Majesty the King will now proceed to the front of the table of offerings before the royal platform underneath the 9-tiered Great White Umbrella of State to pay homage to the principal Buddha image of the ceremony, the Buddha image of the royal birthday of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. Their Majesties the King and Queen proceed to the front of the royal urn and pay homage to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. His Majesty the King proceeds past the attending dignitaries. He lights the incense and candles of the mother of pearl tray before the dais, where the monks chant the Dhamma verses, the Abhidhamma. The chanting platforms are located at both the eastern and western sides of the northern portico of the Siddha Throne Hall. Their Majesties graciously receive the homage of those in attendance. And now Their Majesties, accompanied by His Royal Highness Prince Tipankon Rasami Chod, Mahawachi Rotamangkul, Sirik Vibun Rajakuman, and her noble consort, Sininat Pilat Kalayani, will depart from the Siddha Throne Hall, descending by the Prasan porch of Piman Rathiya Throne Hall. You've been witnessing the live telecast of the Royal Merit-Making Ceremony on the occasion of the seventh day or Sattamawan, following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. The Merit-Making Ceremony is for the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. This is the exterior of the Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall. This is the western section of the Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall, where the royal urn of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is placed under a 90th Great White Umbrella of State. Built in the reign of King Rama I, King Puttayodfa Chulalok the Great, the founder of the Royal House of Chakri. Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall is one of the two important buildings admired as gems of the Thai architecture from the Ratanakosin period, and the only throne hall of typical Thai style in the Grand Palace compound. It has been used as the site for various important royal ceremonies from the beginning, as a site for daily audiences granted by King Rama I and the grand audience granted by King Rama VI on the occasion of his coronation ceremony. During the reign of King Rama IX, the granting of the most illustrious order of Chula Jom Klau royal decorations on coronation day took place in this throne hall. The tradition establishing Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall as the place where the bodies of the deceased members of the royal families are laid in state began with King Ram I in 1810. Thereafter, the royal remains of the Dowager Queen Sawangwatana, Her Majesty Queen Rompai of the 7th reign, Her Royal Highness Princess Sinakarindra, the Princess Mother, Her Royal Highness Princess Kalayaniwatana, Grumalung Naratiwa Rajanakarin, and Her Royal Highness Princess Pecharat were placed here in the throne hall. This is the magnificence of the Grand Palace. As you can see, it is divided into several quarters. The Temple of the Emerald Buddha, the outer court with many public buildings, the middle court including Pramahamuntian buildings, Pramahaprasad buildings, the Chakri Mahaprasad building, the inner court, and the Sivalai Gardens quarter. The Grand Palace is currently partially open to the public as a museum, but it remains a working palace with several royal offices still situated inside. The largest and most important court is the middle court, which is situated in the central part of the Grand Palace, where the most important residential and state buildings are located. And the court is considered the main part of the Grand Palace and is fronted by the Amonwiti Road, which cuts right across from east to west. The court is further divided into 3 groups of throne halls and 1 Sivalai garden quarter. Pramahamuntian group of buildings is located roughly at the center of the middle court, therefore at the very heart of the Grand Palace itself. The traditional Thai-style building group is enclosed by a low wall, as this was once the residential and sleeping abode of kings. Thus, it is considered the most important set of throne halls in the entire Grand Palace. All the buildings within the Mahamuntian face north and are arranged from front to back, with the public reception hall being at the front, ceremonial halls in the middle, and residential halls at the back, all of them interconnected to each other. All royal coronations since that of King Rama II took place within the walls of this building group, and construction began in 1785 at the order of King Rama I. The original buildings only included the Chakrapat Piman throne hall and the Paisan Thaksin throne hall. Later, King Rama II carried out major constructions, including the Amarin Vinishai throne hall and other extensions. Later in his reign, he added the Sanam Chan Pavilion and the Narai Chinese Pavilion. King Nang Klao or Rama III renamed the building from Chakrapat Piman, meaning abode of the Chakrawatin, to Mahamuntian, meaning great royal residence. He carried out major renovations and spent most of his reign residing in these buildings. King Rama IV later added 2 archways at the north and west side of the walls called the Tewa Piban and also Tewet Raksa Gate, respectively. King Rama VI or King Vajiravut added 2 portico extensions to eastern and western sides of the Amarin Vinishai throne hall. Since then, most buildings in its original plan remain, with occasional renovations being made before important anniversaries, such as the Bangkok Bicentennial celebrations in 1982. Except for the Amarin Vinishai throne hall, the rest of the complex is closed to the public. So this is one of the tourist attraction site for Thailand, the Grand Palace, the first royal residence in Bangkok. It is covered an area of 132 rites at first, and later during the reign of King Rama II, he perceived that the inner court, which was the residence of the queen consorts, royal consorts, concubines, and royal ladies of the inner palace, was too confined, and therefore His Majesty graciously ordered the extension of the southern side towards Tai Wang Road by an additional 20 rai Tu Ngan, making a total area of 152 rai Tu Ngan. The daily royal merit-making ceremony will take place here at the Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall, with the royal merit-making ceremony on the occasion of the 15th day following the passing of Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, taking place in 8 days' time. That's when the Television Pool of Thailand will conduct our next live broadcast of the royal merit-making ceremony. Their Majesties, the King and Queen, accompanied by His Royal Highness Prince Tipankon Rasami Chod, Mahawachiro Tamangkun, Siriwibun Rajakuman, and her noble consort, Sininat Pilat Kalayani, are now departing from the Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall. They will enter the royal motorcade at the gate beside Rajakaranya Sabha Pavilion and return to Amponsatan Residential Hall, Dusit Palace. The Guard of Honor will render a royal salute, and the Royal Thai Army Band will play the royal anthem. Is the area between the two throne halls, the Chakri Mahaprasad throne hall on the left and the Dusit Mahaprasad throne hall. Yes. You've been watching the live telecast of the Royal Merit Making Ceremony on the 7th day or Satamawan in dedication to the royal remains of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother at Dusit Mahaprasad Throne Hall in the Grand Palace. Your narrator has been Captain Dr. Yongyut Mayalab. Thank you for watching this live telecast from Bangkok. Join us again for our next live broadcast on the occasion of the 15th day following the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, in 8 days' time. From Bangkok, Thailand, thank you very much and goodbye. สวัสดีครับ
การติดตามและขอเชิญรับชมรายการตามปกติของทางสถานีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ